All right, all right. I think that's taken by Matthew McConaughey.
All right, all right, all right.
Welcome, everybody, to this evening's regional fishing report. We are going Eastern Shore to Ocean City, and we have Big Bird with us tonight. Super excited about this. But before we bring him on, we have a little announcement to share. We have a new sponsor, and thank you. So third generation Cipriano Plumbing Figliosi ceramic tile, and they're out of Maryland, mostly the Western Shore side, but give them a call and see if they can help you out. They are 2011's top realtor choice for plumbing and tile and renovation and repairs. So check them out, give them a call and see if they can help you. We definitely recommend them. Are we ready for Big Bird?
Sure.
All right, let's bring him in. Hello, hello.
Hello, how y'all?
I'm so super excited to have you on for many reasons. Obviously, your big win is one of them. One, because, you know, we're not allowed to have favorites, but I'm not going to say anything. Really enjoy what I see on video with you. So let's share with the audience really quick. What happened to you recently? Big in the Ocean City 5th Annual Inshore Classic.
Well, my friend Sean that fishes with me on the on my boat lost time. We actually got, let's see, do I got right? Nope. Okay.
You have the check. Oh, is that for me?
Yeah. Yeah,
Same
I've always been pretty good at coming in 5th, 2nd, you know, 4th for every year, but this is the first year I've actually won it. So
yes,
Sean caught the keeper 33-inch rock, and I caught a 30-inch rock, which put us in for 1st and 2nd place.
Mm-hmm. Yep, saw that. So it was about, one of them was about 10 pounds and the other one was about 13 pounds-ish.
Yeah, right about that.
Yep, so congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
One thing I'd like to share with our audience, actually a couple of things before we get too deep. First of all, obviously, question of the evening, as usual. And the winner will get a 5/8 GI jig and a 6-inch shad eel BKD. Also, one other thing I'd like to mention is, so Big Bird, oh, we have something. Oh, hey, how you doing? So Big Bird is on just about every news station and YouTube channel in the area here, but Hooked on OC is a big one. So Hooked on OC actually had live footage from start to finish of the Inshore Classic, where they interviewed Big Bird a couple of times throughout the tournament. I watched the video. It was really great. I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. Also, Scott Lennox, who works with Hooked on OC as well, got a chance to get on the boat with Big Bird. That's pretty amazing. I watched that video, learned a lot. So definitely check that out as well. Really good footage on that. So just wanted to plug you in for that before we get started. So let's get into the fishing report. So striped bass, bluefish, sea trout, flounder.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with flounder? I know that they might be moving out at some point.
Yeah, this is the time of year, and with this cold weather, it just happened. The flounder like to stack up on the inside of the jetty, and they also like to stack up around the Route 50 bridge. They're migrating out to the ocean, and you're hearing reports. And I've been out. We were in 3rd place in the flounder in the tournament, but we got beat out. It weren't a big flounder; it was a keeper. But yes, the flounder fishing is starting to pick up around here when they're stacking up to head out to the ocean.
Yeah, pretty good. So last year, just so everybody knows, that Big Bird won the Calcutta for the bluefish.
Yes.
And it was an 8-pounder. That was a pretty nice fish. I saw the photos on that as well.
Yep.
But getting back to flounder, you know, even though they're moving out, there might be still a chance to get on some before they move out.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
okay.
they'll be around until the water hits almost 50 degrees. But right now, I mean, they're stacking up right now. You can go out and get some nice flounder, no doubt.
So what do you recommend for technique this time of year? Jigging or some other technique to get on these great flounder in Ocean City?
Most of the time when I'm flounder fishing, I use what they call the Carolina rig, where you got the slide and sinker up and down the line, about a 2 or 3 foot leader with a small one I'll hook, and I like Berkeley Gulp, or I'll use one of my smaller grub heads, and I'll cast it upstream and retrieve it. Just keep a steady retrieve, because the flounder is definitely a predator. They go after something moving, and you're skipping it on the bottom, hoping not to get hung up. So
yeah. Shore Sharp, who follows us frequently, says congratulations, well deserved on your win. So with the rig setup that you mentioned, what are the weights that you're using?
Most of the time I'm right around an ounce. That's for the Carolina rigging. And when I'm tossing it out and retrieving, I'm usually using right around a ½ ounce, because I'm really putting it on the bottom and don't want it to get hung up.
Okay. So that retrieve, how does that work?
Well, what I try to do is, if you got a good current going by you, you'll cast upstream. So when you're reeling it in slow, it's actually going by you. And when it makes the turn at the back end of the bridge is most of the time when you're going to get a hit.
Oh, okay.
And you're just slowly retrieving, and a lot of tip action. Just a little twitch, retrieve, reel in 2 or 3 times, twitch. I tell everybody, to be a good flounder fisherman, you need Parkinson's, because you just sit there and twitch it the whole time.
That's how I got mine in Georgia. So we have a question from actually our sponsor at Hook Optics. So Nikki and Bob with Hook Optics. What is your favorite tide? I was going to mention tide. Thank you, Nikki and Bob. Along the South Jetty.
Either one. I like it coming and going, as long as it's moving.
Yeah.
It's when it ebbs out. I am a fan of the outgoing tide, but I've done so well when the incoming tide. If you're over off the South Jetty of Ocean City, on the incoming tide, you can actually cast away from the jetty and it'll bring it back towards it. And there's a shelf that goes into the inlet, and you'll actually feel it tighten your line up and drop down that shelf. And that's where them fish are going to lie, is on the edge of that shelf.
Awesome. So for those who are tuning in and don't know who Big Bird is, shame on you, but creator of the Roy Rig.
Mm-hmm.
So with the fish that we mentioned tonight, yes, lovely.
And this is what one looks like.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So with the fish we mentioned tonight, bluefish, striped bass, what do you use your Roy Rig on? All of them?
All of them.
Yep.
All of them. When I'm casting up on, there's the Route 50 bridge has got certain sections that can go from 30 foot deep up to 8 foot deep. Anywhere in the shallower section, all I'm using is the Roy Rig. And you're just slowly retrieving it and bouncing it up.
Oh.
And
your little baby in the background.
That's my beagle dog trying to be a pain.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm telling my buddy he can let her out of here. She's just gonna holler. But his dog and mine are just gonna play, so I don't know.
Okay.
But it's okay. Heck, I'll get her to be quiet.
If somebody wanted to purchase one of your Roy Rigs, how do they get a hold of one?
At the we just dropped off 40 packs at Raceway Sitco down there in Ocean City. Scott Lennox does do he buys thousands of them from me, and he mails them out. I don't know if my daughter owns the company, and she might get into shipping herself one day. But most of the time people find me, buy them off me, or just all the local tackle stores around here love carrying them. Okay.
Well, we'll connect more on specifics on how people can get a hold of that, and we'll put it in the comments after we post it on our channel later on. But we have a question from Jeff. What's the best day of fishing you ever had in Ocean City, and why?
That's a hard call. I mean, one of my best days was when I caught the 53 inch. That was my biggest one I ever caught.
Huge, yeah.
And A friend of mine, neighbor Dave, used to fish with me before he became a big time family man. He's got 13 grandkids he takes care of now, but him and I went out on a foggy morning. I mean, we could just barely follow the rock pile out. When we got to the point of the South Jetty, it was an incoming tide. 10 casts later, we had, back then we were allowed to keep 2 rockfish each, and we had our limit. Come back to the docks, all the boys are giving us grief. Oh, too foggy out there for you. We're like, no, we got our limit. We're holding up 4 rockfish, and everybody was just going nuts. So, I mean, it's a hard, any day of fishing is my good day of fishing. I mean,
yeah, I'm sure you have so many stories to share. Rodney says hello, Lady C. I don't know if you're on Instagram, on Facebook. We got so many cameras pointed at me right now.
I wish I could see this.
There. So let's go to bluefish. What's going on with the bluefish in Ocean City?
They have slowed up, but they're still around. During the Inshore Classic, we had 1 bluefish we turned in. They're coming and going right now. What we really look forward to in Ocean City will be coming within a month. That's when your New Jersey, your New York water temperatures get cold and drives all the fish down south. Well, we're one of the stopovers, and there'll be a time now. I mean, I've seen big blues here in November before. With the full moon, they ran up in the back bay, but we're still hitting blues. The blues up around the 50 bridge, and we're getting some. If you see the birds working out in front of the inlet, you can run out there and still bust some blues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good time for chasing birds. We do have another question coming in. Scott Walker, hi. Shore Sharp, I have a question for flounder fishing. Do you prefer bull minnows or gulp?
Gulp.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Yes, it is.
So you mentioned fiddler crabs, though, speaking about what to use in your video twice, I think. What are good fish to use fiddler crabs for?
Toe-tog and sheep's head.
Yeah.
And black drummer hit them too. But the toe-tog and the sheep's head's being a very popular fish. They're hitting them good right now over on the South Jetty. And we got an area called Martha's Landing off of it, especially where the old railroad track used to go to Ocean City that fell in years ago. They're getting a lot of beautiful and the guys on 50 Bridge are getting them too. And they're usually mainly sand fleas and green crabs. But if you can, it's getting chilly now. The filler crabs ought to be, going deep soon. So you're not going to be getting them.
Okay. Sea trout, never caught, like to learn. What are you using? Where are you finding them?
There's an area we call the sandbar right in the inlet and outside on the south side of the South Jetty. Casting Roy rigs, artificial stuff. They should be showing. I'm looking for them to show up at any time. Most time it's about November. We start getting the speckle and the wheatfish trout. There are some little ones around. I had the show you were talking about. Lennox had a big one on.
Yeah.
And we were just casting I cast what I call a little Roy. It's another prototype lure that I'm putting out that I won't put nothing out until I'm well guaranteed that somebody's going to. I just want you to be able to tie it on and fish it and be able to catch a fish. That's what I try to do for people. You know, I like catching fish, but I love seeing kids catch a fish. If I can help a kid catch a fish, that's made my day more than anything.
Yeah, for sure. If anyone's watched the show for any amount of time, they know how passionate I am about children and getting them connected with the outdoors and fishing in particular. So it's good to hear that. We have another question from Scott Walker. You still throwing white hair jigs for the flounder down there? Statement question mark.
I have done. They're homemade bucktails I make. I wrap them with I wrapped one of my Roy rig heads with deer tail, and we were casting like a bucktail and putting a piece of Berkeley gulp on that. It's whatever's getting cast in it, like I said, casting upstream and retrieving back, and bouncing it on the bottom. And yeah, we still use them.
You had mentioned stretches. I guess it's a type of lure. Can you explain to the audience what you mean by using stretches in the video?
Okay. I think you can see it okay, but this is a stretch 25. It's meant for taking out in the ocean and trolling behind your boat. If
Wow.
you pull it behind your boat. Well, up there by the Route 50 bridge, there's only one area. I mean, there's one area with 6 different slots that you can fish. Like I said, that lure is designed to dive 25 foot down, and you're using it in a 25 to a 30-foot depth, but you're using it as a freshwater jerk bait. You're letting it go. You're casting it out or letting it drift back behind the boat. Then you're reeling it in real hard and you're pulling it. I mean, people, when they see me fishing it, they think I'm already hooked up until a fish hits it. And these big rockfish and the big blues, what was it? Sean week and a half ago, he got a 38-inch bluefish, 15.1 pound monster blue doing this technique. And you're using that stretch, like you said, you're letting it go back and you're using it as like a freshwater jerk bait as you're pulling it in and you're jerking it and just as hard as you can pull it in. Yeah. You're trying to drive it into the bottom, but not really hit the bottom because there's just so much garbage underneath the 50 bridge that you can get it. You're messing with a $20 lure. I mean,
I'm sure. Yeah. So again, I definitely recommend going to the videos on Hooked on OC, the tournament video, and also actually someone got the privilege, Scott Lennox got the privilege of being on Lost Time with Big Bird. And a lot of those techniques and some of the strategies we're talking about in this regional fishing report are on those videos. So
there's more than that one show. There's several shows. Everybody laughs and they look for the yellow suspenders, and I've got him to wear the yellow suspenders once or twice, and it's been some of the best fishing he's ever done in his life, he says.
That's funny. I was going to buy them, but I thought it would be sacrilegious to mimic you at all. I'm going to keep my own Lady Sea trademark, but I was really tempted. Those are really cool suspenders. Yeah. So we talked about the bluefish, striped bass.
Yes.
Where are you finding them, and what technique? What technique got you the win?
Using the stretch got us. Well, Sean got the win. I got second place. We were using the stretches in the deeper zone. You know, we were after the bigger fish. You can catch, and I love just using a Roy rig up and down the shallow parts, but the win came from using the stretch and just pulling it out from the bridge as hard as you can. And they bent us right. We caught both of them within an hour of each other.
Wow. That's great.
There's another show called Outdoors Delmarva. I've done 60-some videos for them fishing with me on my boat.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend following Big Bird. I think your name is on Facebook, Craig Cropper, aka Big Bird, to follow him because he has some amazing tips on his Facebook as well. There are a couple of events going up that I wanted to mention. I'm not sure if it's open to the public, but you have an event coming up, actually 2 of them in November. Are any of them available to the public where they can come hear you speak, or is it a private venue?
November 12th. It's I'm pretty sure it's an open venue. It's the Ocean Pines Library in Ocean Pines, Maryland. The Ocean Pines Anglers Association. They've asked. I've spoke with them before, and they say I'm one of the most asked for person to come back. So they called me up. John McFalls, good friend of mine. For a 90-year-old man, he'll outfish anybody. He's great, man. He's my hero because, man, he's that old and he's still right out there just as hard as he can go.
Yes, I'm sure he has a wealth of experience and knowledge, and probably a great person to go fishing with as well. So your outdoors, I think it's Outdoors Delmarva is is airing on the 27th, or did I get that wrong?
That's Hooked on OC.
Hooked on OC. Okay.
I'm not sure when Scott's going to put the Inshore Classic on. The video that was out right now where he was fishing with me was hey, my biker's here. I got biker friends now. I got them calling me up now from Daytona going, why aren't you here? It's Biketoberfest, because I'm up here fishing.
Well, everybody is trying to connect with you for some time in fishing. So we're gonna wrap this up here so you can connect with those people.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to have you all. I help you guys.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. But we have question of the evening first. If you can remember some, and we can bring some of the questions up again if you need to. But
Berkeley Gulf Minnow question.
okay, we got it there. Let's see. Berkeley. Here we go. Shore Shark. Question of the evening. Congratulations. I think I already have your address, but we can connect after the show just to make sure I have the right address for you. And Shore Shark has won the GI Jig 5/8 ounce jig head and the BKD lures as well. Hot match here. I usually like going for white, but there's a big debate on whether color means anything. It's really the fisherman, right? Not so much what color you're using sometimes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Big Bird, for, you just gave us some really sweet nuggets on spots, on technique, on how to connect with you, maybe checking you out on November 12th. I mean, what more can you ask for?
If people come to Ocean City and get up with me, if I can help them catch a fish, I want to help them catch a fish. I want to watch everybody catch fish, just not me.
Awesome. Well, if there's nothing more to share, we're going to close out for the evening. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Grant, aka Crazy Horse, is on next with Captain Walleye Pete of the Chesapeake Bay. So stay tuned. Other than that, fish on, everybody, and have a good evening. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Just hang around, too proud to be your fool.